Hi guys, Lisa Tamati here, and just thought I'd do a little bit of a session talking about what it's like to publish a book, because as you may or may not know if you follow me on social, I'm just about to launch my third book, Relentless, which is coming out on the 11th of March, and you can pre-order that now on my website. If you just go to the shop on the website, you can pre-order it, and it launches in March on the 11th. And I just wanted to share a little bit about what it's like to publish a book. This has been 2 years in the making. It's been one hell of a process. This is the third book that I've done. The first two books were done with normal publishers, traditional publishers, and this time I went the self-publishing route, if you like, and I wanted to have control over my book so that I could distribute around the world, and I can control its marketing and control its trajectory, so to speak. So I went with a self-publishing after looking into traditional ones or going through self-publishing. There are many pitfalls to self-publishing, and it's not a route for the faint-hearted, I can tell you that much. But if you have, depending on what you are wanting to achieve with a self-published book, is depending on how hard and how difficult it can be. If you're wanting it to be just a book that you might make for yourself, telling your story and sharing it with your friends and family, then that's a really easy process. And there are people that can actually help you even do transcriptions and getting things like that done. And there are even local companies that do that. If you are wanting a book that's going to be in bookstores, on Amazon, audiobooks, ebooks, all of that sort of stuff, it's a much deeper process. And I've made every mistake under the sun in this 2-year journey. I had troubles. I had someone helping me with the writing, and that didn't work out. I lost a complete year with that. I've had to try to understand the whole publishing industry, which was anybody who'll tell you that's actually in the industry how complicated it is and how fast it's changing. So there is, it's one thing to release in New Zealand, it's another thing to get released in other countries, and every country is different. And you can have a mixed publishing deal where you maybe have it self-published in your own country and traditionally published in other countries if you're very lucky. Most New Zealand books don't get outside of New Zealand, but I'm really pushing to get this one further afield into Australia and America, at least. And it's a long, ongoing process. So typically you have the writing process, which in itself requires like 4 complete edits and rewrites until you get it to a point where it's really good. And then you've got your copy proofing, where you got to have it proofread. And again, this has been months and months of going backwards and forwards. You've got to have if you're doing a research book or where it's including a lot of research, you've got to make sure all your footnotes, all your references, that sort of thing is included. You've got to get testimonials and reviews from celebrities, and that can take months and months to work backwards and forwards to get reviews, get people to read it. The bigger the names in the industry that you're in, the harder that will be. So that's another part of it. Then you've got the whole marketing preparation and promoting of the book. So this is not just a matter of you write the book and people will buy. It is talking about the journey. It's about getting websites. It's getting sales funnels. It's getting on different channels so that you get the word out there. It's about hiring a PR company to help you with media. It's creating Facebook ads. It's pre-launch pages, launch campaigns, email sequences, sales funnels, you name it. There's a 100 billion things that has to be done in the build up to it, and it all has to be timed perfectly. You then also have to think about things like, your media releases and your book launch tours, how you're going to finance that. I'll be open and honest with you, this has cost an awful lot of money to get this book to market, to get it to market properly, to professionally. My mortgage is not as healthy as it was a couple of years ago. So it's a really massive risk that you can be taking. So those are all the difficult sides of it. On the positive sides of it, you get to share your experience, your insights with the world. And if you've got a message like, with my book, it was really, really important to me to get this story out there because I know it's going to help, I hope thousands and thousands of other people who are going through a tough time and a tough journey. This book is all about the mindset that's required to take on big challenges and to overcome the odds and to not give up, it's also a book that has got all the brain rehab stuff that I've done it, and I'm going to develop a course in the back end of this to help people because I get constantly hundreds of people have approached me about helping their loved ones with brain injuries, concussions, strokes, aneurysms, all of that sort of stuff. So there's a lot about brain rehab in there, but it's more of a mindset book as well as telling a really amazing story. And it also has a lot of the running adventures in there that I've done because those adventures sort of show a lot of the principles that I'm talking about in a real life situation and how you benefit from it and why it's important to be pushing yourself, pushing the limits physically. Doesn't have to be with ultramarathon running, but actually getting yourself in a position to be strong enough and resilient enough to be able to cope with whatever situation life is going to throw at you. So that was my motivation for getting this out there and to giving people a guiding light basically for whatever big challenges that they are facing. When I was going through the really deep, dark days with Mum and there was no light at the tunnel and I was being told there was no way out and she would never ever do anything again, I had a couple of books that gave me hope. One was by Dr. Norman Doidge, who talks about neuroplasticity and the brain's ability to adapt and change and to come back. And that one was one that I really hung on to. And there was another one by Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor, who was a brain scientist, and she had a stroke herself, and this tells her story, how she came back. So there were a couple of books that really gave me hope, and I wanted to pay that back, if you like, with this book. So I hope you guys will get in behind the book and promote it and share the social posts that you do see, and read it. It's valuable information in there. It's a story that it's a heartwarming story for starters, but it's also something you're going to actually take away lessons from this that will help you in your life and your challenges. And life throws challenges at us all, unfortunately. It's not plain sailing. So if anyone wants to know about self-publishing a book, what the journey is like, and wants to find out a little bit more, you can reach out to me, lisa@lisatamati.com. I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. And, most of us, I think, have all got a book inside of us that wants to come out. We've got things we want to share. We've got messages that will help the world. So if you're brave enough, if you're strong enough, it's a bit like taking on the biggest ultramarathon you can possibly think of. But if you're brave enough and you want to have a go, then reach out to me. And yeah, guys, if you don't mind sharing this one, I'd be very, very grateful. We launch on the 11th of March. We've got a book launch tour right throughout the country. We'll be doing a lot of media as well. So you might see Mum on TV. She's getting a bit nervous, but she's excited about it as well. So thanks very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you again soon.